is a kid from USC. And those two guys are acknowledged to be the two best quarterbacks in the draft.
Okay.
Now, I heard a story a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a month or so ago, that neither one of them is regarded as being as good as either Carson Wentz or Jared Goff, who were taken 1 and 2 in, I guess it was 2 years ago's draft, because they came in. Neither one of them had great rookie seasons, but both of them were outstanding this year. And Darnold and Rosen are both, they're acknowledged to be the top 2 quarterbacks in the draft, so chances are both of them will be, at worst, top 5 picks. But the people that do the grades for this sort of thing and evaluate talent, and you have to trust their opinions because this is what they do for a living, this is what I've heard, is that Rosen and Darnold aren't as good as Wentz and Goff. Now, if you go according to those opinions, well, now do you want to take them 1 and 2 in the draft? Because now you could be looking at a situation where, if you remember about 5 years ago or so, or whatever it was, where Geno Smith was thought maybe he would be the number 1 pick in the draft. Because here was a quarterback, and here was a guy who had a great career at West Virginia,
yep.
And the Jets are the Jets going to take Geno Smith with whatever pick they had that year? And all of a sudden, Geno's sliding all the way down into the second round. And the Jets took him there because it was a situation where here's a guy who was considered or thought that he could potentially be the number 1 pick in the draft, and he's now at pick 33. We got to take him. You have to take him just for the value. And as it turned out, he wasn't even worth that pick.
No, he wasn't. So
that's the thing with quarterbacks. There are only so many of them, and there are only so many. First of all, there's only so many quarterbacks to begin with who are legitimate NFL players, but there's only so many of them that can be your franchise quarterback, and that's an even smaller number.
No,
so
you're right.
You look around the league, and there's probably at least half the teams in the league that don't have a quarterback who you could say, all right, that guy could lead them to a Super Bowl, and it's imperative in the NFL. And you look at the Jets for the last 30 or 40 years, and how many times have they had a good quarterback? Chad Pennington was one of the few. Vinny Testaverde for a couple of years was one of the few. No. And if you don't have a guy like that, other than that, let's face it, the Jets quarterbacks have been pretty much horrible.
Richard Todd.
But you're talking 40 years ago.
I'm saying you want to go back.
I mean, that's how long it goes back. I mean, Ken O'Brien had some good seasons. But even though people hated the pick when it was made, he had some good seasons. He was at least reasonably productive, not to an extent where you could say he was that for a decade, which is what you'd like, but this is what you need in the NFL.
I think Ken O'Brien, the problem with Ken O'Brien is they came out the same year as Marino and the rest.
Everybody. That was a great quarterback crop.
And I think because of that, he had good numbers. We'll look him up.
Well,
we're going to take a break right now. We'll look up his numbers, and we'll come back. You're listening to From the Press Box right here on 90.3 WHPC. I'm Rob Leonard. He is Stable Genius, Tim Leonard.
Stable Genius.
And he's at Twitter at
Real Tim Leonard.
Oh, this has been such a hard week for me.
Why?
Well, I had this huge test that I didn't study for. I was fired from my job, and my mom is driving me nuts.
I hear ya.
How can I just forget about all of my problems?
Join the club.
Wait, are you listening to my conversation?
Yeah, sorry. Let me introduce myself. I'm DJ Rocky C, and by club, I meant club music.
I'm so confused. There are no clubs around here.
No problem. All you have to do is listen to my show, The Kickstart, featuring the best hits in dance music.
Crazy twist.
The club is never far, since now it comes to you. But there's also classic dance hits. Now also featuring rap, hip-hop, and trap music. Join me, DJ Rocky C, bringing you the 212 straight to you in The Kickstart, Wednesday nights at 8. On the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Okay. Yo.
Tell your friends about the Nassau Morning Madhouse. Hear what you're missing.
Check it out. Is this Lonnie Quinn?
Hello, kind sir. How are you? I just need to go find my gallon of espresso that I keep somewhere around the house.
We kind of went a little overboard in our thought of how Lonnie gets through his broadcast.
I'm not a coffee drinker. Maybe I'll tell my chew on batteries or something. I have no idea.
What size battery would you run on then?
It's all about sucking the alkaline out of them. All right?
One thing we were infatuated about, you roll your sleeves up.
It has become like this barometer. One of these days, I'll have some fun. I'll freak you out. I'm going to do the weather bare chested. You'll be like, oh my God, we're going to We'll do our best to hold the fort down for you guys.
We'll send you a Starbucks gift card, I promise.
That's the best line of the interview.
Nassau Morning Madhouse. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9. Yeah. On the voice of Nassau Community College.
90.3 WHPC.
Tick-tock. Welcome back to From the Press Box, here every Monday on 90.3 WHPC. Also, we've become a podcast later on Spreaker.com, which connects to iTunes.com. So either one, Spreaker or iTunes, just put in From the Press Box in the search engine and you'll find us. I'm Rob Leonard. He's Tim Leonard. Okay, brother, here's Ken O'Brien's numbers. Not bad, actually. 25,094 yards total. He played 129 games. He, let's see, started with the Jets in 84, even though, played 10 years till 93. Last year was with the the Eagles. Mostly played with the Jets, which I forgot about.
But the problem here is, with Ken O'Brien, is he wasn't Dan Marino.
No, he wasn't.
And if you remember, I'll let you in on a little insight, a little memory. The reason that Dan Marino slid in the draft, because he was regarded as one of the top players,
right?
And it seems almost laughable now.
Of course, is
that there was a rumor swirling around Dan Marino right up around draft day that Dan Marino had smoked pot.
Had smoked, yeah. Like that
or was a pot guy, whatever.
Right.
But there were marijuana rumors around Dan Marino, which he denies to this day.
And I believe him.
But that was regarded as serious enough back then that teams were, we can't have pothead. Can't have marijuana.
Right.
Nowadays, you got guys drafted in the first round who were, what do they call it, hot boxing, where they put the military
they make
mask around their face.
They make themselves into a bong.
And they smoke up, and they keep all the smoke in here.
Yeah, it's called becoming a bong.
Well, that guy got drafted in the first round.
Well,
I forget his name, but he was a lineman, and the Giants actually should have drafted him.
And New Jersey's about to legalize marijuana, and New York's going to follow right after.
Cuomo is looking into it.
Because they want the tax money. Okay.
Next to tax money, it's also a much better painkiller than opioids. It's not addictive.
I agree.
Let's stop being stupid, people.
Anyway, 85 was his best year, Ken O'Brien. 11-5, 8-6 in 86, 5-7, 6-5-1. He was 50 and 59.
Injuries both seasons.
Yeah, but 11-5 is pretty damn good.
Yeah,
that was a good. That was 85.
I think that was the year they went to the AFC title game. No.
I don't know. I
think it was.
So anyway, let's see. Joe Walton was the coach. They were 11-5. They lost the wild card against the Patriots. You're right.
See that?
Look at that. Okay, so that was a pretty good year.
But again, Ken O'Brien was there for 10 years, and how many seasons over 500 did they have? Only a couple.
Yeah.
And he was a pretty good quarterback.
At 86, the Jets, and I forgot this too, they won the wild card against the Chiefs, lost the divisional round to the Browns, 20-23.
Bernie Kosar.
Yep, Bernie Kosar. So.
That was when the Browns were good. The Browns could actually win a game, one game.
It's hard to believe. Yeah, but after that they were just basically gone.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
So anyway, we have, like we said, Patriots and Eagles in the Super Bowl. You know what? I wanted to mention this, and I heard Joe Ritter talking about this on before we came on the air about the fight at the end of the game.
I don't think that was no. I think they were coming out to cheer because
I wouldn't put it past the Eagles cheerleaders to get into a fight though, and to help out. Because I was thinking about this, and I'm like, only the Philadelphia cheerleaders, and I'm going to say maybe the Raiders too. But those are the only sets of cheerleaders that I could see saying, "All right, hey, we're throwing down. Let's go."
I actually thought they came out to do their cheer. That's what I thought.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't put it past them because Philly girls, they're willing to throw down. Let's put it that way. I don't think they think twice about it. And like I said, I could see Oakland Raider cheerleaders doing the same thing, but that's it. I couldn't see the Jets flight crew doing that.
I can see the Islander Ice Girls doing it
though. No, not at all.
Anyway, we have John from Freeport on the phone. John wants to talk about the Knicks. John, welcome to From the Press Box.
Hello, I'm a Nets fan. I'd rather talk about the Nets.
The Nets. I'm
Nets.
sorry.
But, no, I was curious if you guys have any information on Nick and Net trade rumors. But before I go to Nick and Net trade rumors, I want to say that I'm boycotting football because Colin Kaepernick is a great American, and he's not working. He doesn't have an income or steady income at this point. And it has nothing to do with Trump specifically. I think he was trying to call out, black people being killed by police officers and with no retribution.
Well, at least you know the reason.
Agree 100%. We've said that on the show before.
Whoops.
What are you doing?
We lost him.
So thanks.
Oh, he's still there.
Nets, I'm really happy with the Nets. I think they could make a run for the playoffs. They got a lot of chemistry. They're a great team. I was wondering if either the Knicks or the Nets are going to be making any trades. Thanks, guys.
Hold on.
Well, as far as the Knicks go, there are the rumors out there about Kemba Walker. I don't think there's any real legitimacy to them, and I think really the only reason that the rumors started in the first place is because Kemba Walker is a New York guy. I think the Knicks would have to take on too much and give up too much to bring him back. What I heard was that the Knicks would have to give up Frank Ntilikina, which I got to be honest, I wouldn't be averse to doing that. But they would also have to take on the contract of Nicholas Batum, who is, the Knicks already have Joakim Noah, who is on a 4-year, $72 million deal and is useless at this point. He's got he's got 2 more years left after this season. So unless Charlotte was going to take the Noah contract back in return, then I can't see why the Knicks would take on another bad contract. There's just no reason to do it. Kemba Walker is 27. Frank Ntilikina is, 18 or 19. You hope he's going to improve and become worthy of the 7th or 8th pick in the draft, whatever he was. I don't know. Kemba Walker is clearly a superior player, and clearly would give the Knicks. I think he and Porzingis would make for a nice point guard pick and roll combination. I think the two of them would be devastating together.
Right.
But it's I don't know. It's kind of hard to believe that trade will get done just because, like I said, the Knicks would have to give up too much. They might even have to throw in a draft
pick. And actually,
with that.
Look at the standings. I thought the Nets were way under the Knicks, and they're only 3 games under the Knicks.
The Nets
and the Knicks started out with a great season, or at least a well-played season in the beginning. They were watchable.
Then they went on the road.
And then they went on the road. They still can't win on the road. The Nets, if they go on a run, they could be in 3rd place within 2 weeks.
I was checking that actually on the train coming in, and the Nets, I want to say, are I think if the draft was one of those, if the draft was tomorrow kind of things, the Nets would have the 8th pick. And that's a vast improvement over last season when obviously they gave the number 1 pick to the Celtics. But the Nets they're only a couple games behind about 3 or 4 other teams.
Yeah.
So I still think the Nets will probably wind up as a lottery pick. But when you're talking about giving that pick away anyway, the improvement that the Nets have shown this season has been remarkable. And the Dinwiddie kid, Spencer Dinwiddie, has been just a remarkable find. Sean Marks, as far as I'm concerned, what a great hire by the Nets. They got him from San Antonio to be their GM. He has made trades that have just gone under the radar. He picked up Jaleel Okafor, who I think should turn into a player. Gave up very little in return. He got Dinwiddie off the scrap heap, basically.